Evening, people. Welcome back to my channel. Sorry for the delay. We're back here and back again to talk about the hottest transfer news this week, or probably throughout this window. To be honest, I think there's actually been quite a lot of activity this week. But before we get into that, Dan, welcome back to the channel. How you doing, bro?
What you saying? You good, yeah?
Yeah, I'm good. It feels like we got back and forth now. I do like a couple shows on your channel with you. I do a couple shows on Matisse's channel with you, and then on my channel again. So yeah, how you good? Yeah,
Always a pleasure, man. Always a
yeah.
pleasure. Yeah. No, I love, man. And I'm a bit tired, bro. I did the AFTV watch along last night with the boys, and man, I got in and me and Judges went to bed at like 3:45 a.m. So we are knackered, man. But I'm back, and I just looking forward to my sleep after Love Island tonight, man. I can't lie.
Mate, I'm looking forward to Love Island in general. To be honest,
Man, it's gonna bang
yeah,
tonight. Trust.
it's gonna be. It's actually getting good these days. Kendall, what's up? How are you? You good?
Yeah, good, thank you. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to Love Island as well. Like they leave it on a worst cliffhanger ever. On a
yeah,
Friday, it's like, oh, you've got a day, you've got to
yeah.
wait a day, and you've got to go and watch it on Sunday. So yeah, I'm excited for it, but I'm good, thank you.
Okay, good. Well, listen, we're here to talk about football. We're here to talk about the good and bad news of both your clubs and some of the clubs in the Premier League. So you know what? Let's start with Arsenal, Pots. Yeah, let's start with Arsenal because me and you we've had quite a lot of chat on
Hmm.
Arsenal transfer business, like what you need to do, what you've done so far, what would be deemed a successful window, and we've seen yet again that Arsenal, when they want to, they have the ability to move quick with transfers. Um, we know what's happened with Lisandro Martinez, which we'll touch on later on to Man United, but it seems as if you guys had targeted Zinchenko as next up on that list. The news broke on what, like Monday, Tuesday, that you wanted him, and by Friday you've already agreed a fee, and it's now a case of like personal terms, etc., etc. So um, first, and before we actually talk on the player, like why is that with Arsenal? Why is there such a varying contrast? Because Fabio Vieira, all of a sudden, bang, the deal was done, but Gabriel Jesus dragged and dragged and dragged, and now Zinchenko done, but yet Lisandro Martinez, that deal dragged and dragged and dragged.
Bro, I'd love to know, man. I'd love to know, and this has been not like this for just under this tenure. This has been different regimes that has always happened with Arsenal. Do you remember when Andre Arshavin signed in February in a January transfer window? Do you know what I mean? This sort of
Yeah,
thing happens with Arsenal all the time. Like we just drag things out, bro. And I just feel like you're right. The Fabio Vieira one, I feel like was overnight, but clearly it wasn't. It's clearly been weeks and weeks of again trying to get it, but just wasn't highlighted as much for
yeah,
whatever reason. Maybe it's because people didn't really know who it was and it wasn't highlighted as much. I think with the Zinchenko one and the Jesus one, they're probably two of the worst kept secrets. Jesus definitely was. It took us, what, nearly 2 weeks to sign him? I mean, that's a madness. When I see Spurs overnight by Bissouma, overnight by Richarlison, I know it wasn't overnight, but you get my point. It seemed
yeah,
that way. It didn't seem like weeks and weeks of hunting these guys down for Spurs. It just seemed like Perisic bang, Bissouma bang. Probably Jed Spence is the only one that's dragged for me. The other
yeah.
ones have all been overnight. So why is it with Arsenal taking so long? I can't answer that question, bro. There's so much lack of transparency between what the fan base believe is happening and what actually is happening at Arsenal. So we can't actually put the pieces together. We've been told there's a clear plan. I don't know what that plan is, so I can't say whether we're executing it or not correctly because I have no idea what that plan is. All I know is that overall we're going for a younger team, and I've been told now we need to sprinkle some world-class stars around it. And if
Hmm.
Zinchenko and Jesus are classed as world-class players to sprinkle around it, then I would disagree that they're world class. It depends what you mean by world class, of course. But I'm happy with
So
both players. I'm happy with
yeah.
both players. I
So,
can't lie.
okay, fair enough. And yeah, I think it is a bit inconsistent in your swiftness on deals. But let's actually talk more on Zinchenko. And of course, well, I'll get your opinion on this, then I'll come to you, Kendall. But Potts, like I tweeted about it yesterday. From the outside looking in, I actually think Zinchenko, like he may not be like a flashy signing, but I think he's a sensible signing. Like I think he's a decent signing for Arsenal, and I think like overall, in terms of what he will bring to Arsenal, I think he's a good player. How old is he? What, like 24, 25 years old?
25.
He knows the league, so it's not like there's going to be like heavy adaptation period. And I feel like he suits a team that want to the ball, play with the ball the majority of times. Like he's coming from a team in Man City who were ultra possession based, and if your Lego if your Lego head of a manager wants to be Pep Light, then I guess he wants to sort of pad his team with players who are ultra comfortable in possession. And then you look at the versatility. He can play left back, which ticks off a box for you in Tierney, but his natural position is CM. So that means he could probably do a job in an 8 role for Arsenal. But again, that latter job remains to be seen, because we've not really seen what Zinchenko can do in midfield in this league, both in a good way, because he could potentially be good, but both in a not so good way, because you never know. He could go into midfield and he may not be anywhere near as effective as he was for Man City at left back. So yeah, give me your thoughts on him as a player.
So my thoughts on him as a player is that he's got talent and he's got some quality. I think as leadership goes, he's the captain of Ukraine. He's got the versatility where he can play in other positions. But the reason this is an interesting signing for me, Tobes, is I don't know what's going to happen after it. Is he going to be our number 8, upgrade on Granit Xhaka? Is he going to be our backup to Kieran Tierney? Is he going to be our left back? This is all stuff I don't know at the moment. So when people say this is a great signing, I agree in terms of his quality, but I don't know what it's going to do to the balance of the squad, because I really don't know that I've seen enough evidence to suggest that he's going to be able to take Arsenal forward in a left CM role and number 8. I haven't seen enough evidence to say that he's going to be happy to come and be a backup to Kieran Tierney. And I certainly haven't seen enough evidence to say that he should be the number 1 left back. So we've got a player here, and I don't actually know how we're going to utilise him yet. So I think although it's exciting to see players of that quality come into Arsenal, I'm a little bit confused as to where we're going after this signing. So I think for me what will be interesting is, because we've got links with Lucas Paqueta, Tielemans and other players in other positions, and what's his name, Benfica left back Grimaldo, this is going to be really important next couple of weeks to see where we're going after this Zinchenko signing. But as for the player himself, comfortable in possession, great leadership qualities, good mentality, winning mentality, understands Mikel Arteta, understands Gabriel Jesus. And I think when you look at it moving forward, I think all of those signs will probably be a positive signing overall for Arsenal. But I'm just a little bit confused as to how we're going to utilise him at the moment.
Kendall, I want to get your take on this as well. What's your thoughts on Arsenal signing Zinchenko? Like, obviously they missed out on Champions League last season by a point. We all saw their weaknesses: left back, midfield, attack. Does that Zinchenko signing prove that they're a club heading in the right direction as far as improving their squad to the level that they need to is concerned?
Yeah, in my opinion, they've gone out for signings that they need at this point in time. So positions that need filling, they have addressed that, in my opinion. This is just another one. I think Tierney is not fit enough for a full season to be the only one that they're relying on. At times when he plays, he has been in the past one of their best players, but he's just not fit enough. And obviously, I don't believe that like Nuno Tavares or anyone like that is good enough to be, again, starting week in and week out. So I think it's a good signing because that gives another quality backup to Tierney, who is quality on his day when he's fit enough. But the problem is that's the deciding factor. He hasn't in the past been fit enough to start every week in, week out. So this, in my opinion, I think it's a good signing. As Dan was saying, he's a very versatile player. He can play a number of positions. He's a very experienced player. The titles that he's got at his age, the international experience that he's got at his age is insane. I think he's like been a Ukrainian international now for like 7 years, since he was 18. So I honestly can't see anything wrong with the signing. I get what Dan's saying in terms of like long-term signing, but realistically this season, you might disagree, Dan, but Champions League's your goal. Top 4 is where Arsenal need to be this season. Otherwise, it's going to have to be looking elsewhere, looking at different avenues. So for me, it's a quality backup. He's got Champions League experience. He's got Premier League experience. So I think it's a really decent signing for a good price for someone at that level. Fair.
Dan, there's an interesting comment here from Daniel Hammett. He says, Dan, would you say Jesus is your only guaranteed starter from the signings you have made so far? Or do you see Vieira and Zinchenko being nailed on starter? And before you answer that, let me just bring in Disu. Nice of you to join us, Disu. Evening, bro. We're just talking about Zinchenko. We're just talking about Zinchenko right now. So I want to get your thoughts on Zinchenko. But first, Dan, what's your take on this comment then?
Yeah, I agree with it. I can't sit there and lie to you. Vieira's not going to get in this first team for me. He has to fight for this place. I don't see him walking into it. As for Zinchenko, I imagine he will get into it, but we don't quite know where yet. I believe it will be an upgrade on Granit Xhaka, so Granit Xhaka will be replaced by him. And obviously Lacazette now leaving, and then Nketiah being the backup striker, Jesus comes in. So I think Jesus is the only one I can sit there and hold my hands up and say, yes, you're 100% getting in this first side. Zinchenko, I would say is, but again, like, where does Mikel Arteta see this guy? I don't know yet. He's not made it clear because obviously he's not been signed yet. But maybe when we sign and he says, there we go, that's our midfield, he will be playing midfield and covering for Kieran Tierney if Kieran Tierney's out, which at the moment in the last couple of seasons has been a lot. Then, of course, I would say, yeah, fair play. Both of them two are definitely getting in. Other than that, Tobes, I actually think our first 11 is pretty easy for everybody to predict. I really do. I think if Zinchenko and Jesus come in, I think the rest of the positions are pretty much going to stay there because I can't see us getting another goalkeeper ahead of Ramsdale. Tomiyasu and Tierney are our fullbacks. Saliba's the only one who could get ahead of Ben White, but Gabriel's definitely starting. Thomas Partey, Ødegaard, and potentially Zinchenko. And then, of course, a front three of Saka, Martinelli, and Jesus. We could get another wide forward that can get ahead of Saka or Martinelli, but I doubt it. If we do get that Paqueta, then perhaps he could force one of those out, but I'm not so sure. Haven't seen enough of him. Fabio Vieira, I don't see him starting. I think he's a squad player. So, yeah, I think that comment's fair, man. I can't sit there and lie. I believe Jesus is the only one I can hold my hands up and say he is 100% starting, and it's up for the others to fight for competition, man.
Fair. Disu, obviously, as a Man United fan, someone who's actually, let's be real, Man United and Arsenal are going to be fighting for similar things this season. Does that signing of Zinchenko worry you? Like, do you look at it from the outside in and feel like Arsenal are actually like putting some good pieces together in addition to Jesus and Fabio Vieira?
Does it worry me? No, but my worry is irrelevant because it cannot worry me, but he could be a consistent performer and provide something that Arsenal need, and it could lead to Arsenal completing their objectives ahead of Man United. So two things could be true. As a player, I'm not the biggest fan of Zinchenko. I just think he's okay, but he plays for City, so you got that pep tax on top of that. So it makes people like give you a bit more credit for your performances or lack of, shall I say. But I don't know. From what I've read and someone from Arsenal fans who are friends, Arsenal friends who are fans, they are talking about left back more than midfield, but I've had also talk about midfield, so I'm kind of unsure where he's going to play. But if he's going to play as that inverted left back, I can see why Arteta's targeting him because he is comfortable on the ball. He actually is a natural midfielder, and he does play the same role for City, so there could be value for him there. But it's interesting to see how well he does defensively and in that role because, of course, City, they dominate possession more than any team the league has ever seen. It's like he also like to have a bit less possession than City, being more basketball games in terms of end-to-end stuff than City. So it'll be interesting to see how he adapts in that position. Probably have to do a lot more 1v1 defending for Arsenal than he would have done at City relatively. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it works. It's not like a signing that's like, I think Gabriel Jesus, although he doesn't start, I don't think he's world-class or anything, but I do think he's a very good quality player, and I think he's something like him, if he gets to start a lot of games, I think he can improve and be really, really good. So that's a sign. I was like, okay, cool. Like, if I also get Rafinha as well, then boy, this can get very, very spooky for us. But Zinchenko is not a signing that, personally, that I'm particularly worried about.
Fair. And fair enough, to be honest. I'm like I said earlier on, I'm in the middle of Zinchenko. Like, I look at it and I don't think he's going to come in and bring the standard down at Arsenal. I think, if anything, he probably improves the quality of their squad. But I don't know. I don't see it as a needle mover. Like Kendall said, I see it as more of a necessity in terms of some of the gaps in their team, more so than a signing that elevates them. But we'll see how that pans out. I want to mention this super chat as well. He says, "Hello, everyone, including Kendall. What team do you support, Kendall?" I think that's obvious by your accent, Kendall, that you support Newcastle.
It isn't obvious at all.
Mr. Observant, man. Mr. Observant, I'll tell you that.
I think Chike doesn't like when people speak about Arsenal in regard to top four, because I'm looking at his other super chat here as well.
Yeah, he's proper kicking off, isn't he?
Yeah, he says.
Sorry, Chike. I'm very sorry. I am not used to talk about elite sport because we have been shit. for 14 years. So I do apologise. I'm not sure how to approach Champions League conversation. So I do apologise.
And apologise for pamming his team as well, and putting the final nail in their coffin when it came to Champions League qualification last season as well. Yes. That was delicious. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Newcastle. But anyway, let's talk about the player that Zinchenko on the surface looks like he was the alternative to. Let's talk about Lisandro Martinez. Now, this year, I'm going to come to you on this one. So, Man United have finally got that deal over the line. Where's your head at in terms of this signing? Like, first and foremost, where do you see him playing the most? And what does this signing do for your season?
Okay. I see him playing centre-back simply because, like, some of Ten Hag's recent comments is that he doesn't see him as a defensive midfielder. He's going to play centre-back. That's where he's been playing. We have been reportedly looking for reinforcements at centre-back, even though we seem to have a million centre-backs, but most of them aren't very good. Also, we have a lack of being able to build out from the back, and that he's somebody who looks fantastic on the ball and be able to play out from the back. So, yeah, in terms of where I see what it does for Manchester United in our season, in terms of the 3 signings we made so far out of Malaysia, I cannot pronounce his name wrong, to my Dutch people, Eriksen and Lisandro Martinez, he's probably my favourite one so far. Mainly, probably because he reminds me of Daily Blind in terms of that fact that he's a ball player centre-back, that although he's undersized, his intelligence and aggression and his technical ability lets him cut through, if you know what I mean. So United have missed being able to play out the back for a very long time. Like, we can't play out from the back. We can't at all. Any team, even when we're doing all right under Oli, finishing second and third, I don't even know how Premier League teams were losing to us. I'm like, all you have to do is press us high. We will give you the ball back. Just press us high. We will literally give you the ball back. And nobody wanted to do it. And then when people started doing it, they literally saw that Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, David De Gea literally could not play out from the back. Luke Shaw, depending on how many burgers he's had that week, can't either. And then Lindelof, sometimes good, sometimes not so good. Word to Gattuso. So I think he definitely, the fact that he's starting means one of them other bozos ain't going to play. So that's a massive boost. And he can actually play football, which is another massive boost, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man.
Yeah, I think it's clear you don't like your centre-back options.
They're not options. They're centre-backs that just happen to be in our squad. They're not viable options, bro. None of them. Like, we've got Maguire, who's just terrible. Like, he turns like an aeroplane. No aeroplane before he's about to take off. That's how he turns. Aeroplane. Lindelof is okay, but if you've got anything above 6 out of 10, so if you've got 7 out of 10 speed, 7 out of 10 strength, 7 out of 10 movement, you'll do Lindelof. Varane's an NFT, he's never fit. Bailly, another NFT, he's never fit. Axel, Phil Jones, I'm not talking about them. So yeah, we don't have like a solid defender.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Kendall, obviously, I know we've spoken in the past about this. You followed Dutch football. Obviously, you used to live in Amsterdam. Like, what's your take on Lisandro Martinez? Like, because I look at him and obviously everyone states the obvious. He's like 5'8" or 9 or something like that. But his aerial stats aren't the worst. And when I've seen the comps of this guy, I'm not going to pretend as if I'm watching him week in, week out, but when I've seen the comps of this guy, like, his ball playing is a joke. Like, even when you try to press him, he's going to find a way to dribble out and play that pass. And he always plays. He's not like from what I've seen on the videos, he doesn't look like a high percentage volume passer. He looks more of like a high risk passer. Like, he makes passes that are taking like 3-4 players at the game as opposed to moving the ball left and right. So what's your view on Martinez? Like, what do you think he brings to Man United?
He brings something that Man United don't have. Basic point blank, they don't have anyone who can play out from the back like that. Hence why there's been a little bit of a misconnection between the whole squad. Like, there's been disharmony between the way that I was going to say Newcastle there, Manchester United play football, and they don't have a ball playing centre back at all. They don't have a player that even we've been saying for absolutely like 3 years now that Manchester United need a DM. Like in that sense, we said this for a few years now. They don't have a player that can sit in between those two lines and in between the midfield and the defence. He can do all of that and more. I know everyone keeps saying that he's like the son of Bilbo Baggins and all that, 5'9", whatever. I'm 5'2". Please don't offend me. I'm a dwarf in that sense. If that's the case. But honestly, his stats for like aerial duels won, and things like that, and touches is like a significant amount above every single Manchester United player last season. Obviously, I know it's different leagues, completely different scenarios and things like that. But I think we did this a few weeks ago when we were talking a few weeks ago on the show. That the way that Ten Hag wants to play, he will want to play out from the back, and he wants to play high pressing football. That's just how he plays football. So this is like perfect signing, absolutely really good. I did at one point think that they weren't going to get it done. Because obviously there was the likes of Arsenal interested, and then there was like reports in Holland itself saying that Martinez wanted to stay, but I always think he was moving anyway. It's just, media talk. So yeah, it's just Man United haven't had a player like this for a while. Pogba almost sat in like a mid position at one point when they weren't playing forward on like forward thinking football. But yeah, they don't have a player who's really, really good at that. So I think it's a really, really good signing for them. He's really versatile and can fit in a couple of positions. So, and he knows Ten Hag football, which is absolutely ideal. If he's not going to change the way that he approaches the league. So yeah, it's a great signing.
Yeah, fair enough. Potts, I'm going to come to you on this as well, because I feel like I started asking this question with Kendall, but I got more focused on his qualities as a player. But how do you think he will like adapt to this league? Because we've obviously seen the record for Dutch players coming to this league and being an immediate success. It's quite in the middle. Like we've seen players like Jan Vertonghen, like Suarez, Eriksen, etc., who have come to this league and have taken to it like a duck to water. And then we've seen players like Bergwijn, like Bergwijn and a few others that have come to this league and they just haven't made that impact. So how do you think Lisandro Martinez will fare?
Yeah, I think he'll be decent, man. They call him the butcher, don't they? So it means he's physical. It means he's going to be able to handle himself. It means he's going to be able to handle the Premier League. As far as I'm concerned, I've looked at him and I didn't hear much about him until we were linked with him. I didn't know much about him at all. I looked at him, saw that he was small, and I thought, what the hell do you want a centre-back who's 5'8" for? And then I realised why, because actually he's got some unbelievable passing ability. The spray of his passes is class. I mean, we had David Luiz, which to be fair was about all he could do, was pass a football. And that's what it looks like in terms of his long-range passing. It's really impressive. So that's a good thing. I like the fact that he's versatile, and I like the fact that Ten Hag knows exactly what he's about. So I think it's a really good signing for Manchester United. The reason I'm okay with him not coming to Arsenal, though, is now that we've got Zinchenko, is because actually I don't think he would have got into the team, believe it or not, this Lisandro Martinez at Arsenal. And I think that's why he's gone to Manchester United, because I don't think we need a left centre-back. I think we've got Gabriel, who's all good. Don't get me wrong, I would have taken him. But I think if you're Martinez, you're going to go and play first-team football. And I think he will play left centre-back alongside Rafael Varane. I know that Harry Maguire has been given the captaincy. That doesn't mean he's definitely nailed on to play, in my opinion. I think the last thing that Ten Hag wants to do is strip Harry Maguire of the captaincy and then try and have a wrestling match with him as to what they're going to do with him, because I don't think there's many people lined up to buy him. So I think it's interesting to see what he'll do there. I can see him and Varane forming a partnership. And I think he will settle in well, Tobes. I know you make some reference to some of the players there. I always think of Matthias Kezman as one who come over from Chelsea and was just a disaster. And there has obviously been some others. But I do think this guy will be good. Listen, Romero for you is great. Argentinian hard nut in the back. And I think this guy's going to be similar. I think he'll be similar, mate. I think he'll be similar. And I think it's a good signing for Manchester United. I really do. And also he can play in left back, left centre-back, defensive midfield, and probably in a left 8 from what I'm hearing. So I think it's only good news for Man United as a signing, if I'm honest.
Fair enough. Fair. A couple comments here. One from Sammy says, butcher hype. Chris Wood will deal with it.
Chris Wood needs to deal with himself first. Never mind bloody Lisandro Martinez needs to deal with himself, man.
I was just about to say your chest move last season, Kendall. I think it worked, but it's like at what cost? Because now you got, I don't know what's happened to Chris Wood. He's just, I actually quite like Chris Wood, but he's just forgotten how to score goals since he's joined Newcastle.
He's used to a certain type of football, and every single team he's ever gone to plays a certain type of football, and we don't play that now. So he's just like come in and just he's not used to playing that certain type of football. I don't know, maybe pre-season will help. He did. We won 3-0 the other day, and he laid off a really good ball for Bruno Guimaraes. I was going to say Guimaraes. So I don't know. I don't even think we'll see that much of him this season. Depends if we sign a striker. I don't really think we'll see that much of him if we do. So
yeah, I figured that as well. To be honest, I expected Newcastle to sign another striker. But anyway, just back to
Burnley went down anyway. Burnley went down and got 25 million for their trouble.
Yeah, you got the money.
10 for Nick Pope. So really, we've like saved their championship season. Really, so they probably should be a little bit thankful.
You know what? Let's go back on Man United quickly, and before we move on. So this year, I'm sick to death of talking about this story, but we have to talk about it. And you know what I'm going to mention? The flipping Frenkie de Jong fucking EastEnders blockbuster special that just doesn't want to end this summer. Like, yo, someone make a move already. Barca, just come out and say he's not for sale. Or Man United, just say, listen, we're gonna do X, Y, Z to get this deal done, because this is doing my head in. Like, and I'm not even a Man United fan, so only God knows how you must be feeling about this deal. You're on mute, mate. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Sorry, I'm not gonna lie to you. I never cared from the beginning. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like Frenkie de Jong, when he was at Ajax, I was like, this guy looks quality. Really liked his qualities. And then for Barca, he's kind of been, really. So I think he's a very good player. But when I saw how much they wanted for him, I just did like, I don't look at transfer fees in just numbers. I look at the context of it. So if a player's got 1 year left in his deal, compared to a player with 6 years left in his deal, there should be two different price ranges, right? Even though it's the same player technically, right?
Yeah.
So context matters. I'm like, okay, cool. You've had two kind of rubbish seasons. Barca clearly feel like they've got better players than Pedri and Gavi. They want to replace you with Bernardo Silva, who's like literally 4 times the player of you. You're already on 300k. So I'm like, Barca are so broke, like they're literally selling off all their profits for the next 20 years. Yeah. Like saying enough. They have everybody weddings and day parties at the new camp.
DLT at the new camp.
Yeah, they have that. Do you know what I mean? It's insane. So I'm like, they need the money. They want you gone. You've actually underperformed. Why are we giving premium? Because 80 million, what is it, 75 plus 10 that we've agreed, 75 million initial fee plus 10 million achievable add-ons.
Yeah.
75 million, that's premium money for a player who's not a premium player. So I wasn't really a fan of that. And then now all the nonsense, anytime we deal with Barcelona, there's guaranteed nonsense because that club is just a joke. Like we already established that. Like they got their director coming out saying he's definitely not for sale when you know you want to get rid of him. I'm not sure who's that to appease. The fans don't give a heck either. And now we're finding out that they owe De Jong 17 million euros. Every time I open Twitter, I'm seeing here we go, and they just signed somebody else. So I'm like, what's going on here? So I think, and then every time I also open Twitter, I'm hearing again that Frenkie de Jong does not want to go. So what it seems like, and I'm not sure if this is United optimism from the United accounts reporting this, that De Jong obviously doesn't want to leave without his money, which nobody in their right mind should not leave if you owe me 17 million euros. Like, I need that money back. Do you know what I mean? Especially if you've got 70 million euros for Rafinha and 15 million euros for 85-year-old Lewandowski, you must have 17 million for me. Or at least give me 5 million and then pay some in installments. Like, let's negotiate. You know what I mean? Give it to me in Bitcoin. Like, come on, give me something. So I think it's apparently if he says he wants to leave in public, it weakens his position to get his money back. But apparently United giving more, they increased the upfront fee so Barca can pay De Jong, which is really, really thirsty from us. That's so slutty. They owe De Jong his actual wages, so we're gonna give them 75 million, 60 million, 65 million plus his wages. They paid him, even though they need him gone. So they could. It's insane. The whole thing is just insane. But I'm only with it because it seems like Ten Hag is so bang on him, and I feel like if you're gonna get a new manager, you got to back him. And Ten Hag he doesn't give me imbecile vibes. Oli, I wasn't trying to back Oli the full way. I don't trust Oli. I was like, you're not smart. So Ten Hag, okay, cool. We've given you everything you want. We literally signed 18 people from the bloody Eredivisie, all right? So if you flop, no
It's on
complaint.
you.
We gave you everything you want.
It's on
Like,
you.
we literally human trafficked De Jong out of Barca for you. So yeah, man, I think the deal will get done eventually. I think there's just like probably like another week and a half of like just soap opera.
Yeah, Potts, I'm coming. Potts, I'm coming to you on this as well because it's like that whole saga is insane. Because I even wanted to touch on that briefly. I know it's Premier League stuff, but Barca have just spunk 50 million euros on Lewandowski after spunking like 65 million euros on Rafinha. Like, and then we're hearing that apparently they're close to agreeing a 80 million euro fee for Bernardo Silva. They're spending money left, right, and center, and yet can't afford to give De Jong his wages. Like, beyond the whole drama at Barcelona, like, do you realistically see De Jong becoming a Man United player this summer? And if he does become a Man United player, similar question that I asked you on the impact to Man United as a team, how much of a needle mover is that, in your opinion, for United?
Well, first of all, I can't stand this football club, man. Honestly, I can't stand them. As well as PSG, I can't stand either of those two clubs, man. Just everything about them just is wrong for me. It's not football. It's just like, we do what we want. Do you know what I mean? I can't stand teams like that, man. It's just this is the reason it's ruining the beautiful game, in my opinion, because of madness like this, right? So that's the first point. Second point is the reason I do see this happening is because it just will not go away. This is like the worst. It's just boring. I'm just so bored of it now. It's like, just sign or don't. I don't care. Like, I do not care. Like, this guy is boring me, this rumour. It's like, when it first happened, I thought, that's a decent signing. Now I'm like, I don't even care if you sign or not. I've got no opinion on it. It's gone on for too long. Like, it keeps coming up. It won't go away. Like, he's not going to be a Patrick Vieira or a Roy Keane, but he'll be a half-decent footballer for Manchester United because of the style of play that Ten Hag will have, which, of course, works quite well at Ajax. But let's be real. Barcelona, from what we hear, don't want to sell him and he doesn't want to go. I beg to differ, man. Like, this rumour it would just be squashed by now if he didn't want to go. It just has been hanging around like a bad smell for far too long. So clearly he's not as happy at Barcelona as they're stating, and clearly he would be willing to go to a huge club like Manchester United, whether you look at them as a huge club or not. I still do, particularly reputationally. I don't think anyone can not. Surely he'd be looking at that project with Ten Hag and thinking that was tempting. So I can see it happening, and I do think it will happen. And I kind of half want it to, because it would just shut it all up, because it's just boring. It's just like, do you know, like when, what was it, the kind of rumours of, there's been loads, to be honest, but loads of rumours of, is he going to, is he not going to? Just please do something. Like, it's taken so long now, man. It's boring. It's boring. So that's my honest thoughts on it, bro.
Yeah, fair enough, man. And I know, obviously, conscious you have to leave soon, so I'm just going to leave you with this question right now.
Of course, man.
Just bringing it back on Arsenal before you go. With Zinchenko through the door, what rating would you give your window out of 10? I know obviously there's still bits to come in, but what rating would you give your window out of 10 if he does come in?
If Zinchenko comes in alongside Jesus, Vieira, Marquinhos, people are going to think I'm out of order. 5. We got rid of hardly anybody.
I don't think that's out of order.
We haven't really got rid of any players that we need to. I looked at the second half of Everton last night. It was a joke. I see Bellerin with an armband on, running around trying to play football. It's just a madness.
You're bringing him back. You're running it back.
Dude, there's so many players in this team that are trash, and we can't get rid of them, man, because nobody wants them. Nobody wants them. You could leave them with a sign outside a home saying free to a new home. No one would take them. People would just walk past them. They suck. Some of these players are shocking, like really bad. So it's gonna be interesting, man, to see who actually goes out the door, because we've got about 32 players. Like, me and Turkish were talking last night. We've got about 32 players, and there's about 14 of them that I rate. So we got a lot to do, bro. There's a lot to do, bro. Like, man. People can call me toxic and negative if they want. It's just fucking real. It's just real, man. There's about 14 players that are rating this club. It's mad. And man, we spent near enough 300 million on this team, and I only rate 14 players. It's mad. So there's so much to do, Tobes. It's mad. And like I looked last night and I think our first 11 actually looks half decent now, to be fair. It does. It really does. Other than that, with 5 subs, I'm worrying, man, because at the moment we're going to have to
a
bring
squad
on
game
Maitland
now,
Niles.
this evening.
Oh, man, it's massive. Our squad is very, very paper thin, mate. And that's what we got to do now. So for me, we're still looking at 4 or 5 at least, and that's just not going to happen. So, yeah, I'm not feeling it, man. I ain't going to lie. We're basically a Jesus injury away from playing Eddie up front. We're a Tomiyasu injury away from playing Cedric at right back. We're a Party injury away from playing Lokonga in defensive midfield or El Neni. And then if Saka gets injured at the moment, we're back to Pepe. Lots to do, man. But listen,
And
I've got to shoot, bro.
even,
But
yeah, fair play, Potts. Thank you for that, and thank you for your time, bro.
always, man.
We'll speak tomorrow on London Clubs Carnage, bro.
Yeah, of course, man. Listen, big up everyone. Smash the likes. Great to be on. Kendall, Dizu, legends. I'll follow you on socials. I'm sure we can collab in the future. But take it easy, man. Peace out.
Yes, bro. See ya. Okay, guys, back on. I guess I'm bored of Man United now, to be honest. So I'm bored of United chat anyway. I just realized I've missed a super chat as well for Potts. I guess question for everyone: does this Zinchenko start? I think we've answered this already. Yeah, I'm not really going to spend too much time on that, but thank you for the super chat, bro. Kendall, I'm going to come to you next. Let's talk about moves that clubs in the position that you want to be in are making. So West Ham, like we've seen the news break from Fabrizio that in the last 24 to 48 hours, so they've made bids for Broja, Scamacca, and then that Don from Lille, Onana. So considering that you're a team that needs a striker, how do you feel about West Ham going for these type of players? And do you think that they're players that could improve Newcastle's current position now?
Yeah, Broja, for example, is a player that we've been linked to significantly that Arsenal wanted, because I just thought at the time it was the right move for us. We have an established senior striker. Well, we have two really, but as everyone knows, I'm not going to speak about Chris Wood too heavy. But we've got Callum Wilson. I thought a younger, more hungry striker ready for another challenge before he potentially decides on whether he's going to be pimped out on loan by Chelsea again or whether he has a long-term future there. I wanted him. Obviously, West Ham have a little bit more, I guess, of like a step up than us because they have had European football in recent years. Did they get Conference League this year?
They got Conference League.
Yeah. So again, it's just something that no matter what anyone says, even if it is Conference League, it's still it's like 10% extra on clubs that don't like us, for example, who are in the same market. We've been linked to a lot of players that they've been linked to. I think we are looking in similar markets. So yeah, they really need to upgrade on their strikers. In fact, to be quite honest with you, I was surprised they didn't get one in January.
I agree.
I was really surprised, and I thought that was a bad move for them at the time, because they needed to keep on building on the fact that Europa League and things had happened in recent years. So I was surprised at that. So now, if they get a couple of attackers in, that's going to be good for them. That's what they need, and they're just going to go up a little bit of a level. Obviously, they got Aged as well. I can't remember who else they've got. I think Areola. So they're building as well. But yeah, it is frustrating when, as I say, we are in the same markets, and we really, really need at least 2 attackers in my opinion. I don't think we can start the season coming forward. Shout in the background. Okay, thanks. Yeah, so I don't think we can go into a season now with just buying no more players. That this cannot be our window done. It's as simple as that. Because we are never going to get anywhere near West Ham's level if that's our business and they're doing this. But yeah, I did see the news that it was like going to be £100 million all-round bid for those 3 players, and we need to be dabbling into the market if we want to get onto their level. That we need to be doing the same business as they're doing. So I think David Moyes is approaching it correctly, and the club are approaching things correctly at the moment.
Fair. Disu, what's your, because I guess Kendall raises a good point, right? Like Newcastle are aspiring to get to where West Ham are, and West Ham are trying to build. So you would expect that they'll be in the market for the similar caliber of players. One, do you realistically, do you see West Ham signing both Scamacca and Broja? Because I don't.
I don't. From the comments I see from Tuchel and speaking to the Chelsea boys, the Chelsea Hour boys from Touchline Fracas, it seems like Broja isn't for sale. And I know he's just done an injury recently, so I'm not sure that's going to impact his market. With is it Scamacca? I'm not sure if I'm saying his name correctly. He was linked with PSG, so I thought he'll go there. But obviously, PSG just signed Etike, who obviously Newcastle are after. So yeah, I think if anyone's going to move, more likely Scamacca. And I do think that Newcastle, it seems that Newcastle are aiming a lot higher than maybe what they would have prior, and I think that's good. I don't think Newcastle should aim for players that are maybe a bit better than what the level was last year, because now Newcastle, of course, have got the increase in funding. They should be looking to like get quality players, the highest quality players as possible. And some some players who are maybe underappreciated, or maybe some players who have a relatively high price tag, and some clubs, like big clubs always try to be cheap. Like they're like big clubs are like, oh, we want your best player. That's literally the reason why you stay up, but we want to give you 15 million from that. Like, no, we're not going to give you the reason why we're staying up for 15 million. You're going to have to come and give us 40, 50 million. I think that's where Newcastle got to come in. So I think Scamacca's definitely one. Oh, there's a player that I wanted Newcastle to go for.
So, and because we spoke about this off air, so me and Kendall. So Newcastle have been linked with Moussa Diaby, obviously Leverkusen's winger. Now, from what I've read, Leverkusen have put a beefy price tag on his head. I think something like 60, 70 million euros. Kendall, I'm not too sure. Question to you both: do you think that's good value for money from Newcastle's perspective?
The thing is, I'm not too sure. I don't watch much of Leverkusen, so I can't speak on how good he is. If he can't remember, he's gonna come to the Premier League. He's not gonna be the Germany. So if he's coming to the Premier League and he's like, all right, decent player, then no, because you can't just spend 60 million euros on decent player. But if he's like, okay, let's say he's like in the tier below Mahrez and Salah, but he's getting you goals, then I think that's value for money for Newcastle. You're getting like an upper end Premier League attacker, and I don't think there's a price you could pay for a quality attacker, because they're the ones who put the ball in the back of the net. I think that's the type of player I'm talking about. I'm like, okay, highly rated player, fairly young, upside. Like even, for example, he's been linked with bigger moves, but the price tag scaring them off. That's how Man City elevated themselves. Because Man City, they were a yo-yo club before. They weren't exactly. They didn't have the heritage of Newcastle. They were legit a yo-yo club, and then they came in. Obviously, at first it was Robinho. Like nobody was really going after him. They put up the money for Robinho. Then they started. They have remember what's the guy's name? Bojanov. They had a few funny signings. Company was one of the earlier good ones. And then eventually the David Silvers came, the Yaya Toures, the Sergio Agueros. I feel like, definitely. I think that's the type of mold that they need to. Even what about Paqueta? If they can get something like Paqueta from Lyon, that's the type of signing that I think they should be trying to make.
Yeah, fair. Kendall, we spoke on this briefly, but I think I already know your thoughts. But you let me have him anyway, because I'm looking at that Newcastle situation, and I think it's obvious what you need, right? Callum Wilson is a crock, so there needs to be at least one more certified gunman in that team. And then out wide, like the best winger is St. Maximin, who is obviously, like, when he's on it, he's unplayable, but he's not really the most consistent player. And I feel like outside of ASM, there's literally nothing. There's nothing. So you talk to me. What's your view on what Newcastle need this summer in addition to someone like DRB?
I'm sick of hearing like, Newcastle were in for so-and-so, but they've been priced out of a move. This is obviously it's not coming from the club, but it's coming from the media and journals and things like that.
Yeah.
They're not going to pay such and such for this person. They're not going to pay such and such for this person. I'm sick of it. You've got the money, right? Financial fair play, does it exist? Let's just be honest here, because does it exist? It exists for people who they want it to exist for, because Barcelona are literally pimping out players left, right and centre so that they can pay other people's wages. They are literally pimp my ride, but like pimp my player. I'm actually sick of them, right? So financial fair play, just ignore it. We can deal with that later on down the line. We've now signed nearly as many executive officers for the club than we have players. We've signed 3 players and 2 executive officers. We've got a sporting director and a chief executive officer. Now, people are sitting there and saying, you've got unrealistic expectations. I haven't. I've said 10 years, at least 10 years till we are consistently top 4, right? I've said that. I don't even know if that's ever going to happen, but just at this point in time, I've said 10 years, 7 to 10 years, easy. The owners are coming out saying, 5 to 10 years for our first league title, 3 years for Champions League. That's why our fans now are sitting there saying, well, if you want that, why aren't you paying the money?
Yeah.
And then the fans are just completely divided now, because there's one set of fans saying, we've signed 3 decent players, there's still 7 weeks of the transfer window left, be patient, we've got a really good team. And then the other half, which I am in, is like, we cannot go into a Premier League season wanting at least top 10, with Ryan Fraser and Jacob Murphy as our right wingers.
Yeah,
and Almiron as well. Jesus Christ.
It's just
why don't Newcastle go for Callum Hudson-Odoi?
Well, forget Zaha. Go for Zaha. He's got a year left in his deal. He's got.
I know. This is the thing. We've got Dan Ashworth, right? And obviously Brighton have been like lauded for their business that they've done in recent years.
Yeah.
And now it's actually slightly annoying me, because we've been in for like these bigger names, if you will. And like, he's known for doing business on a smaller scale. For really decent, like, look at Cucurella, for example. Being linked with Man City heavily, he's probably end up going to go there now, because obviously it's the Zinchenko news. So if, like, just people like that, and we've just been linked to like silly players, I would just pay the money for Moussa Diaby. I don't even just pay it. Like, he's 22 years old, and his stats are like, I know stats aren't the be all and end all, obviously, but if you don't watch German football, like I don't watch German football very much, that's what I'm going to go off. I'm going to watch a little bit of him, and I'm going to look at stats, and his stats are really good. He's only 22 years old, and we've seen what Eddie Howe can do with players, the way that he coaches, like Joe Linton, for example. He's absolutely transformed Joe Linton. So why would a young player who can still be moulded in a different league come and be shit? I don't see it's really that's ever going to happen. I mean, I know it has, it's not impossible, but I just don't see that's going to happen. So I'm just sick now, because I don't know why we just don't go and pay the money for things. Like, for example, the Raul de Tomas links. So he has got a contract with Espanyol till 2026, but they only said they wanted 35 million euros. Danny Ings was 35 million pounds.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just don't understand why we're not paying it. Obviously, there's probably stuff going on in the background, and we're only going off what we're seeing. But yeah, I wanted Callum Hudson-Odoi. I said we should just go all out for a striker and just a loan for Callum Hudson-Odoi. That's what was my opinion. And that's what I said I wanted, because I think they're still playing Callum Hudson-Odoi. I think under Eddie Howe, he could cook, in my opinion. That's what I think. In terms of coaching, I think Eddie Howe will be a great coach for him. And it's a low risk move for both us and Chelsea, because if the loan doesn't work out, he goes back to Chelsea, and Chelsea go and they're another club who like to pimp their loan players out, the young players, off you go. And they can loan him out again, whatever. He can stay there and come on in random games like they have been doing to him the last 2 years. And if it goes well, we have the money to then pay Chelsea for him and give Chelsea a buyback clause in the future, which is what they always like to do. So it's just a low risk move for me. I don't really get it. But anyone who says they're happy with our window is mental. Like, at the moment, I mean, happy with the window so far, but if it ends like this, they are wild. I honestly, I don't know how you can do it. I don't know how you can look at that and think that that's good enough for a full season. I just don't.
It's not. Because it started off well. Because I think we've spoken about Pope. I think that's a really good signing for Newcastle. And then Sven Botman, I don't really know much about him, but from what everyone keeps telling me, he seems like a sensible signing. And what confuses me is you paid a lot of money for Sven Botman. Like, it may not be a lot in comparison to like what you've seen for Martinez now and for White, but 39 million for a cash-strapped Lille, for a guy who's not played at who's obviously played for Lille or made his name at Lille, but he's still relatively unproven in terms of the other best centre backs in Europe. That's big money. So if you're willing to make that investment on a centre back, on a young centre back, why wouldn't you then just continue making those investments in the attack and in the midfield as well? Like, I saw your financial fair play figures in January, and like everyone knows, Newcastle can spend. I think you can spend like close to 200 million or something like that without having to worry about FFP. So what's the hold up?
Another player I'll get for Newcastle on a free, I'll get Lingard.
I think the thing is, I don't think they're going to approach that again, because we did in January, and Man United weren't interested on I know obviously it's different because he's a free now, but they weren't interested on letting him go out on loan at the time. And we just said, right, point blank, no, because we didn't want a permanent transfer. But obviously he's a free now, but his wages, it'll just absolutely, completely and utterly disrupt our wage structure. Because I think that at this moment in time, I believe like probably Bruno and Trippier are our highest paid players, and I think it's maybe just over 100,000 a week. In my opinion. So obviously Jesse Lingard was on like what 250k a week. I just don't think they're going to do it. So I think this is why they've approached younger players like Botman, for example, who they can kind of still not have to pay massive wages out on, but a decent transfer fee. So this is why, it's very frustrating for me. But 100% with Miles, I said Broja. I just think that's good. Paqueta, obviously Leon have said they want 60 million for him as well. And between 50 and 60 million euros is what I've been seeing reported. In my opinion, if that's maybe one of the only bigger deals we're going to do, I wouldn't go there just simply because I think we need a striker. And I just wouldn't be looking to spend 60 million on a centre mid that's our area that's the strongest at the moment in the team. So maybe that's not the right move, but I still would like him if we were going to spend money. But yeah, it's just frustrating because if you want to be a big club, move like a big club. If you want to be a successful club, move like a successful club. And at the point in time now, we're stuck with like Kieran Clark. Well, no, he's left now, but he's gone to Sheffield United. But we're stuck with like Dwight Gale, for example. Yeah, 100%. Dwight Gale.
I'm looking at.
I can't even put my head like Jamal Lascelles.
Is Dummett still there?
Yeah, Paul got just signed an extension last summer. Almiron, Sean Longstaff. There's just players like that who, although Sean Longstaff was all right in pre-season, but he usually does. But we're just not going to get rid of them easily. It's going to have to be like a case of like actually forcing these. Like we just got rid of Jeff Hendrick, got rid of Isaac Hayden, and got rid of Kieran Clark. That's who we've got rid of to championship team. So it just shows the level. Like of where that team was. So I just would like to see just a little bit more action. Just pay the money, pay a decent price. Obviously I know it's not the be all and end all, and I know it's not the full story that we get in the media. We get fed things from the media. There's clickbait, there's false stories. I know that, and we don't really know what's going on. But I just would like to see a little bit more ambition, and not for us to be priced out of moves at this stage, because we really just need to move like a club that wants to be successful.
Fair. No, I agree. And for those who are still watching as well, thank you for tuning in so far. Could you do me a couple favors, please? Could you make sure to smash the like button if you haven't smashed the like button already? And then could you also make sure to subscribe to Kendall's channel and to Disu's channel as well? Their links to their channels are in the stream title. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, but yet you're watching the stream or you're playing that, just hit the subscribe button. It takes like 3 seconds. Anyway, yeah, guys, there's a couple more things I wanted to touch on before we ended there. So can let's move away from the north and let's come back down south and talk about Chelsea, because obviously Chelsea, I think it was yesterday, Chelsea announced this Koulibaly deal now. There's been a lot of discourse on Twitter about where he ranks currently as a centre-back. I've seen the videos of Liverpool fans. They're pushing about Mo Salah putting man in a blender. I even seen a video from one of our fan pages on Kulusevski running him ragged when he was playing for Parma. So I'm looking at this as a really good signing for Chelsea. But where do you lot see, like, where do you lot stand in this signing? Like, Koulibaly, what type of impact do you think that he will have for Chelsea? And I'm going to start with you on this, Disu.
I think he looks like a good player. From bits I've seen of Napoli and for Senegal, you can see that, of course, athletic, good on the ball. Like, yeah, he seems like a good player. And I think with Chelsea in their back three, I think it's quite important for their defenders to be good on the ball and be able to carry out. So, like, Rudiger did a lot of like long switches, which Koulibaly can do. And also like dribble and carry the ball into spaces and kind of like disrupt teams' defensive shape, which Koulibaly could also do. So they're similar players in that regard. Obviously, Rudiger, he's very aggressive and he's got like a lot of, he's very athletic and he was quite good one-on-one defending. So it'll be interesting to see how Koulibaly does, especially when you're playing in the back three. And I'm assuming Thiago Silva is going to be like the central person in the back three. So he's going to play on either the right or the left, probably the right if they're trying to get Kimpembe. So when you're playing that part of the back three, sometimes you have to deal with like 1v1 situations, whether it be strikers or inside forwards or wingers running down that channel. You're going to have to engage with them. We're interested to see how he's able to deal with that with Premier League level attackers. Because obviously Premier League attackers tend to be faster, stronger, more skillful than Serie A attackers. So I'm interested to see how he copes with the speed of the game and those type of scenarios. But some people speak on his age, but I think especially in this day and age, some quite good number of players can play at a high level into their mid-30s. Like Real Madrid just won the Champions League. Half of their main players were in their mid-30s, from Modric to Cruz to obviously the Don Benzema. So I think the age is fine. Thiago Silva is literally 800 years old, and he's like one of the best defenders in the Premier League. So I think the age is fine. It'd just be interesting to see how he adapts to the speed of the game. But yeah, I think that's a good signing, and I think it kind of replaces Rudiger well. Obviously, I probably would have rather just give Rudiger a new contract and not have to spend 31 million euros. But yeah, I think that's a good signing, especially after they've been getting rejected up and down all window. So yeah.
No, I agree. I agree with everything you said. I think that people are using this age thing as if Koulibaly is a player that looks like he's slowing down from a physical perspective. He's still fast. He's still strong. He does have bozo gene at times, but like you said, as far as bringing in a centre back who can actually come in and do a job similar to Rudiger, then I think he ticks that box. Maybe not as well as Rudiger, but we'll see. Kendall, what do you make of Chelsea's centre back situation at the moment? Because obviously they brought in Koulibaly now, but they're also looking at bringing in Kimpembe. They had the deal in place for Nathan Ake, which has just collapsed. But then you're seeing a lot of Chelsea fans who want the likes of Ampadu to play centre back, Colwill to be given a chance at centre back. Like, what do you make of their centre back situation now? Because obviously they've lost Rudiger and Christensen as well. Are these names that they're bringing in going to sort of get them back to the level that they were playing at, or do you think that there's definitely going to be a drop?
I think they've replaced. I completely agree. I think they've replaced Rudiger well. It's just the fact that Rudiger did so much for that defence. It would be hard to find someone who would just slot into that role straight away. The thing with Koulibaly as well, like he has played several different types of defender, if you will. I think under Sarri he was like more of he's played as a ball playing centre back. He is strong. He's extremely agile, and for a defender, like he's a really elegant football player, which is mad. Because you don't normally get that with a lot of defenders typically. Obviously, I agree. I have seen a lot of Chelsea fans. They want Colwill to have a chance, but I just think they are going to want top four. And Todd Bowley is notorious for wanting to be a champion in the other sports teams that he owns. And he is approaching the situation probably the way that he thinks that he should. I know he's going and approaching a lot of deals himself. As we've seen, he's been on flights here, there and everywhere, which I think is a good thing. Obviously, if it was between Kimpembe and Ake, I would be wanting Kimpembe as well. I think we were linked to Ake for a while, but 50 million for Ake, in my opinion, is wild. So I think, Kimpembe would be a better option. But yeah, I think they're approaching it well. I don't think now is the time to allow youth to bed in, because they are going to want top four again this season, as always. And maybe if they get top four and they can see where they can fit in and they do really well and they're successful this season, then okay, bed the youth players back in. That's absolutely fine. But I just don't think right now you're going to start Colwill every week. It's not going to happen. So they're going out and they're replacing Christensen and Rudiger, who have left, who were absolutely massive parts of that team, and they're going out and they're trying to replace it instantly. So yeah, I think they're doing good business. And to be fair, the price that Koulibaly's gone for, I don't care whether he's 31. As Disu said, he's literally, Thiago Silva's 37 years old. Like, he's literally like a granddad, and he is unreal. Still one of the best defenders in the league. So yeah, I don't think that 31 years old is old at all. I don't think it's a problem at all, especially for the player that Koulibaly is. So yeah, I think they're doing really good business, in my opinion.
Fair. I actually agree. I think there was a lot of discourse on Kimpembe, like negative comments as well, and people were talking with such such conviction about a player that I'm pretty sure most people don't watch week in, week out. Because I know some of these people are talking. They're not watching PSG week in, week out, and they're going after 1 or 2 Champions League games that they see Kimpembe play. I think Kimpembe will be a really good signing for Chelsea personally. I do hear you on the youth aspect as well. I feel like with the amount of games Chelsea play, there's going to be opportunities for the likes of Colwill or Ampadu to play a couple games here or there. But I think asking for them, man, to be like starters, first team starters now, having lost Rudiger and stuff is a bit nuts to me. I can't even lie. But that's the way Chelsea go. We know how Chelsea are with their.
The thing is as well, they approach the situation like they're wanting to sort the defence out first and then go forward like that. Obviously, they've signed Sterling. Unbelievable signing, by the way. Like, I literally unreal. I'm so angry about that sign. I'm just so, not that I thought we would get him, but I'm just jealous about it. So the best thing for them now is to replace the players that they've lost, and that's exactly what they're doing. Again, a little bit like Arsenal, they're building on parts of the team that need building on. So yeah, you're completely right. People say that they'll watch people and that this, that, and the other, but they don't watch players every week.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. Oh shit! I went on mute. Talk about my team now. Talk about Spurs. Obviously, Jed Spence, he's all but signed for Tottenham. We've seen the pictures of him in a Spurs shirt floating around on Twitter. So that will be, I believe that will be our 6th signing once that's actually announced. But then, first of all, what do you think of that signing in regards to our current team? And then I want you to speak on another player who we're linked with as well, Memphis Depay. Obviously, he played at United. He's at Barcelona now. He's been linked with a move to Spurs. So talk to me about your thoughts on Spence as a signing and potentially Memphis as a signing for Spurs.
Yeah, you're also linked with my boy Madison, so I'm not really happy.
Yeah, I was gonna.
No, I'm actually happy about that because I want my boy to get his
do a triple threat. Talk about all 3 for me.
Yeah, so see Spence getting. I don't like pretending that I've watched a player bare. I don't. But from what I've seen of Spence, he looks like he's PMP, a bit of PMP, some technical ability. I think you definitely need somebody who's going on the right hand side because you haven't had it. Serge Aurier was a red card / pen or both, depending on what day it is. Doherty, I've never understood the Doherty thing. Every time I've watched Wolves, I barely noticed he played. So when you lot signed him, I was like, why do you guys get this guy? Everybody's told me, oh, Doherty's good. I trust him.
I told you he was good.
Yeah. I know. I'm glad you admit it. Yeah. Doherty, Pants. And who's the other guy? I think you had, who else have you got?
Emerson, Chicken Royale.
Emerson Royale. Bro, I only found out the other day that he's Brazilian.
Bro.
They need to VAR that passport. Not the same Brazil of Neymar. Not a chance. And what team did he come from?
He came from Barcelona, bro.
See, I don't believe this. I need to go. I don't care what Wikipedia says. There's no way he's Brazilian and came from Barca. The guy plays football in basketball shorts. What's going on? He's terrible. Absolutely terrible. I'm not having a bar of him. He is like us. Like he could play with our team and he might not even stand out. So you definitely need quality on the right-hand side. 100%. So you hadn't had that until Kulusevski came in. You literally had nothing on your right-hand side.
Yeah.
No good right wingers, no good right wing backs. But now with him, with Spence, you potentially have both. So I think even if he's just a decent young player that's playing at a decent level, that's instantly an upgrade. And on the left, you've got bloody Perisic. So it doesn't matter. And Perisic can play both sides because he can use both feet. So I think Spence will be a good signing for you. Memphis. See, Memphis, I was a big fan of Memphis before United were even linked with him. I want United to get him. But when he came to United, which some players do, which I don't like, he put on size. Not like he's out of shape, but he put on muscle. So he lost his agility. And I don't think he was suited to being a wide player. So at United, his first season was not a good season. But then the next year, we got Jose, and Jose never gave him a chance. So eventually he leaves. So his reputation takes a massive banger because he's come to the Premier League and he's flopped, right? But he goes to Lyon and he's playing through the middle. At first, like off a striker, then as a striker, he scores goals. Not just in the French league. People say, yeah, Uber Eats League, but the same Uber Eats League, Mbappe scoring and you rate him. So that's not. And he'll score in the Champions League as well. And he scores for Holland as well. With Memphis Depay, what you get skill set wise, which I like to look at, I don't care what league you play in. Is your skill set good and can it translate? You're getting athleticism. He's fast, he's strong, he can finish well off both feet, he can hold the ball up well, and he's technical. He can link the play. So I think he's definitely a good signing. Especially apparently Barca said that it won't be a big fee. I'm hearing 17, 20 million.
17 million to be a role player.
why I don't understand it is that you've just spent a pretty penny on Richarlison. And me personally, where do you see Richarlison? Because that's your boy. Do you see him as a wide player or through the middle? Because if you see him,
everywhere.
Okay, for me, Memphis could be a good Harry Kane replacement. It says like, okay, we'll retain Harry Kane out. He can play through the middle. Memphis wide, I'm not too sure. I'll have him through the middle. But yeah, if you're gonna have him in your squad, that's a quality squad player because he can start for you 100%. No, you can't. You got Harry Kane, but he's starter level, right? Harry Kane's like one of the best strikers like of a generation, but he's a quality player. But personally, that move don't make sense for him because he's just gonna go there to be a backup dancer. But if you can get him, that's great for you. Your overall quality, especially in a World Cup year, who knows? And Harry Kane, you don't like scoring goals into bloody October, so you might have
what's that?
Yeah. Boy, don't tell your boys to start scoring goals. Yeah, tell them not to go strike this year. Yeah.
Yeah. Talk to me about Maddison, man.
Okay, now Maddison, that's my boy. That is my boy, man. Every window I get teased with Maddison to United rumors, but we're stuck with this Bruno Fernandes charlatan. So I really want Maddison to go to Newcastle because he's so good. Like he's one of the best players in the Premier League at receiving the ball in a half turn. Like he'll receive the half turn, and his receiving is taking people out of the game. Excellent cross off the ball, excellent set pieces, whether it's shooting free kicks in the net or crossing the ball. And he's just so intelligent, so technical, composing the ball, and he can score goals because he's a really good finisher, and he can hit the left foot or right foot outside the box. He's got the outside of right foot pass. So in transition, I can imagine him threading balls through to Son. Also, having Maddison in a team with Kane and Son is insane. I think that's one thing your team doesn't have right now.
Well.
You've got a couple players who could potentially beat somebody 1v1, like Kulicheski, as well as Perisic. You've got people who can shoot from distance. You've got two of the best finishers in the Premier League, number 1 and number 2, in Kane and Son. But I don't think you have that. You got Basuma or Bentancur who are comfortable playing the ball in the first phase. They can receive the ball off the defense. They can play decent passes. They're comfortable on the ball. But I don't think you have that high end. I'm going to create something out of nothing player. Is in Kane.
I agree.
It's insane because Kane's also the best goal scorer in the league. But although Kane's great at that, if you can actually isolate Kane in the final third, within the width of the penalty area where he should be because he's a shooter, and you get Maddison playing in between the lines, that is phenomenal. Now, the next question is, how is that going to fit in? I know Conte wants to play a 3 at the back, right? Is it going to be Maddison and Basuma? Is it going to be Maddison off Kane and Son as a 2? Like, how is it going to work? And the money you're going to pay for him, he's going to start. So, yeah. What's wrong with the Spurs going to buy 15 players? Is this the NFL?
Bro, we need our squad. Listen, you can see how Kendall's giggling. Our squad, I don't think people are deep in how bad.
No, I know how bad your squad is, but how are you not doing it straight away? Like, why is my team not paying attention? Yeah.
It's because we got Conte. He wants to do things now. And the thing is, with Maddison, I think we could end up spending 50, 55, potentially 60 million on Maddison if we do actually make a move for him. And if he does come, and he's not even a guaranteed starter. He'd be competing, in my opinion, with Kulusevski for a spot at right wing if we play 3-4-3. Or when we try to switch the team and go to 3-man midfield, he would play most advanced of a 3-man midfield, or he could play behind Son or Kane and Richarlison or Son and Richarlison.
You can't spend 60 million for somebody to be on the bench. That doesn't make sense. And
it's rotation. It's not just bench though. It's rotation. And
is Kane and Son be rotating?
It's not going to be Kane. Kane and Son will be rotated this season for sure. They'll play the bulk of games, but there will be games where they won't play. And I think that's where we need to move towards, right? That's the type of squad that we need to build, because for way too long we've been hampered by just our lack of quality. When it doesn't work for Kane and Son, what do we have left? If we want to rest Kane and Son, what do we have left? If we want to rotate the team, play on Wednesday, be able to play a strong team on Wednesday, but also play a strong team on Sunday. And most importantly, first and foremost, if we want to win, if we want to end our trophy drought, we need a team capable of going that distance. And I think Maddison...
Trophy drought implies that you're winning trophies before. You never won trophies.
We were winning trophies before. We're one of the
50s.
We're one of the most successful sides in England.
Yeah, in the 50s, yeah.
Listen, we're one of the most successful
So
sides.
we, but our last trophy was like 1955.
Hey, no, Kendall, don't put yourself on our level, innit? Just
You're the same, bro. You're the same.
no, we're not the same. When
Yes, you are. You got the trophy in ages. You're the same.
our thing is separate, but
Oh, what? The first to finish fourth. We finished fourth trophy. That trophy. Get out of here, man.
shut up, man. When was the last trophy you won?
It's been a minute, you know. Probably 2016.
2016, yeah. No, 2017.
Yeah, that's ages.
Yeah, exactly.
Guess what's
But
longer?
anyway,
Where was the last trophy you won?
2008.
2008.
Well, technically, I win.
The iPhone came out in 2009.
Mine was 2016, so technically, oh no, I don't win because it was 2016 as well.
Oh,
So
come on. Are we counting second tier trophies now, Kendall? Is that what we're
Absolutely.
doing?
The trophy's a trophy. The trophy's a trophy.
Absolutely,
Is that what we're doing?
2017, I win.
But you know what? Like, I like those questions. Like, oh, and Kendall, I'll get your thoughts on this as well. Like, oh, where's Madison gonna play? Where's your child? Like, I would rather hear those questions than hear, oh, what are Spurs gonna do now that Kane can't play?
1000%.
And stuff.
I'd rather have selection headaches rather than my selection headaches. Like
100%.
8 of you lot, I don't want to play, but I have no choice. Do you know what I mean?
You need the right type of selection headaches. Like you need, like,
Yeah.
oh, we've got really, really good players in that position. Not, oh no, we've literally got to play that person in like right now. You need like the best. Like Tottenham have got the better selection headaches now.
Yeah, 100%.
Whereas like, we've got like, oh God, are we going to have Sean Longstaff as our 8? Like that's like that's just not where I'm about to be. You lot are to take the piss, basically. I'm sick of yous now. Sick of the business that you're doing. Sick of your manager. I'm sick of the players that you've got. I hate yous. And there's no reason for me to hate yous because you're not my rivals. We're not even going to be on your level at any time soon. But I'm actually sick because it's a club moving like a proper football club. Moving like an ambitious football club, moving like they need to win a trophy, and I hate it.
Don't worry,
Because
Conte's gonna have a
Spurs
temper
is
tantrum
never gonna
and
run
just quit
again,
one
is it?
day. Conte's gonna have a temper tantrum. The comments like, oh, there's no more pasta. I just get angry and just quit. That's what's gonna happen.
He has a little history of doing that. Then one day he's just like, nah, see you the same for me, bye.
Yeah,
Like,
Vacchiano's is not hitting,
It's
man.
alright.
It's not raw, authentic Italian food. I'm going back to Italy. Yeah, I'm not
Guys,
continue.
Do you not think 60 million though for a fourth choice attacker is mad?
No,
100%
not for
it's
Madison.
mad.
If it's Madison, no, I don't. I actually
He can't-
don't. Oh, you mean Richarlison? You talking about Richarlison? or
Richarlison,
Madison?
yeah. Well,
I
both
don't
really.
actually.
110 mil on like.
I don't because
One
I look at
side.
it as something that Liverpool, Man City, and Chelsea would do, and that's
Yeah, no, it's fair enough. It's fair enough. It's not your money, is it? Do you know what I mean? It's a club source. It's not too bad. It's not your money, but it's just it's a club moving like a club should if they want to be ambitious. It's basically point blank. And you haven't picked a bad signing up yet. Unbelievable signings all across the board. I rate Jed Spence so high. I genuinely cannot explain. Obviously, like I'm in Durham, so I'm like a little bit in between Middlesbrough, Sunderland, and Newcastle. So I know a lot of people who are Borough fans who rate him like actually devastated, like literally genuinely knew it was going to happen, but still devastated about it.
On that one though, Kendall, on Jed Spence, what kind of impact do you think he'll have for us this season? Do you reckon that he's someone who's gonna? Do you reckon that he can definitely like stamp his spot in our first team this season? Because Conte is not the type of manager that will just let someone waltz into the team. Like you have to sort of take your chance and earn it, and then through good performances, he'll build his trust in Spence. And where Spence is so young, I can see us. He's even experimented with Lucas Moura at right wing back. It looks like Matt Doherty is going to stay because he can play right and he's shown that he can play on the left. So it seems as if he's making some options just in case Spence doesn't hit the ground running straight away. But do you feel like he's capable of just clamping down that spot as his this season?
Every single thing that I see about him, I don't think don't get us wrong, I don't think he's going to come in and be like, right, see you later, and I'm just going to play every single week from this point onwards. I don't think that's going to happen. I totally agree with you. I think he's going to bed in, and Conte's giving himself backup just in case it maybe doesn't go the way that he wants it to, and maybe the system's not for him or anything like that, but I genuinely don't see it. Jed Spence is so good. He's so versatile. He's adapted in several different teams now throughout his career, and even though he's so young. He's played in different systems. He's played under a few different managers, and every single time he's been a standout player. I can't see a point where he doesn't achieve things and that he's not a successful player. I don't see that. He's quick. He's really athletic. He's super good on the ball. And I just don't see a point where he doesn't achieve things under a Conte management. Obviously, as I say, the system's going to be a little bit of a stickler because there's players already who, as you say, who fit in there already, who have fit under the Conte system, who've worked well under Conte. But yeah, I don't think he's going to be.
I would use well loosely.
Well, yes, look, we've got Champions League, right?
Yeah.
With the squad that you said was crap. So, he's did all right. Didn't do too bad. But they've worked under Conte. Maybe that's a better, maybe not well was the word. They've worked. So yeah, I think there's a place for him 100%. I just don't think he's going to come in and be immediately like, right, you start, that's your position. It's not going to be like that because you've got a few players who slot in and slot out. I do, however, think he can. That could be his position if wanted to. Because look, like Sessegnon, for example, like that's a player that you would probably never expect Conte to like, but actually Conte quite liked him. So again, it could be that situation where you maybe aren't too sure. It's not someone that you've watched very often or anything like that. But yeah, so he could fit in there 100%.
Yeah, no, I'm actually looking forward to seeing what he can do for us because I think I said it on Friday. I think first and foremost, what I really like about Spence is physically he looks like he's ready for Premier League football. Like he's 6 foot tall, which is relatively tall for a fullback. He's strong. He's really quick with the ball. And I was reading like this Twitter thread today, and the amount of dribbles he attempts in a game and his success rate for the dribbles is actually really, really high. Obviously,
he's like a low risk passer. Do you know what I mean? Like, he'll find the easiest, but the most like technical pass, if that makes sense. Like he's not trying to be like a maximum, for example. Like he's not trying to dribble here, there, and everywhere. He's like a low risk footballer. He knows what pass to make. He reads the game so well.
Yeah.
And that's why he fits in so well.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this as well because I'm hopeful that this signing is reminiscent of Kyle Walker at Spurs. Because I think when Kyle Walker first signed for us, he wasn't like the Kyle Walker you see today that can spray a ball and can strike a ball really clean and stuff like that. That wasn't the Kyle Walker you saw at Spurs, but he was still really good for us. I think he maximized on the one thing that he is like head and shoulders above people, like, which is his athleticism. Like he was ridiculously fast, strong, and like even when he got into good positions, his crossing wasn't always on point, but he was so good for us in that season under Harry Redknapp in his breakout season. And I really am hopeful that Jed Spence can give us something similar because when I'm looking at Jed Spence now, when I read what he can do in the ball, I think in terms of like technical skill set, he seems like he has more about him at 21 on the ball than Kyle Walker did at 21. What's you guys' take on that?
Yeah, I would agree, but I think it's indicative of just like across the country in general. Like the young players coming out are so much better technically than maybe like 10, 15 years ago. Like you got England under 19s, under 17s, blah, 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 doing really, really well in tournaments. And you got like all these different youth teams that are just really like Chelsea youth teams, like a youth team full of machines. So you get these young players, and especially how the ethos of the game has changed. Like playing out from the back is important. Fullbacks that could go forward and attack is important. So obviously when you're scouting and developing player, those are traits are going to be more favorable. So it's no surprise that you're getting people like Jed Spence coming out of the game with a higher level of technical ability than even if you think about the right backs, like when I first started getting into football, like get like the likes of like Gary Neville, Lauren. I'm trying to think of who was Liverpool. Carragher was playing right back sometimes for Liverpool and left back. Like you simply won't get players like that right now anymore. People who are very good, solid defensively, but on the ball, like they're just okay. Like you need to be able to cross the ball, be able to control, play and build up. Some teams have the inverted fullback, so they have to be comfortable in central areas. Like a lot of teams now, they have like really good like offensive fullbacks. So and I remember Kyle Walker as well because I remember England had quite a highly rated youth team that went into the under 21s, and I think he was at Sheffield United. I remember England played Spain. This one, Thiago and Isco there Spain was just killing us, right? And but like I remember Kyle Walker just going on these runs, just literally bursting through human beings. Like, so I remember him being super athletic, but then he had concentration issues. He wasn't the best technically, but obviously we've seen him develop that under Pep. But yeah, if I'm thinking of the Kyle Walker then, who he was just like a super duper athlete compared to people like Jed Spence now, even Max Aarons to a lesser degree. Like the technical gap between the two players, although I think Kyle Walker's probably the best right back to ever play in the Premier League, pound for pound. Like technically, yeah, Jed Spence is definitely better than Kyle Walker at the same age.
Yeah. No, that's a fair point, really. I'm intrigued. As I said, like you, I've not been watching Spence at all in the Championship. I only watch him when he's playing up against Premier League sides in the FA Cup. So he's very much like an unknown quantity for me. So I can only go off what I'm reading. And from what I'm reading, from what everyone keeps telling me, like everyone's genuinely angry that Spurs have made this signing because they look at it as like a really, really shrewd investment that can give us something now and in the future. So touch wood, hopefully he comes in and he bangs. But first and foremost, we actually need to get the announcement sorted. But I think I'm going to wrap it up there, guys and girls and ladies. Sorry.
Guys like unisex, man, like in it, like guys just means like plural, like everyone. Guys.
Yeah. You'd be surprised in this day and age. In this day and age,
I hear it.
Yes, I'm trying to cover all the bases. But thank you both for joining. Kendall, thanks for taking the time out. Disu, thanks for taking the time out as well. For those who are still watching, make sure you subscribe to their channels again. The links to their channels are in the title now. Just hit their names and hit the subscribe button. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, again, do the same thing. Just hit the subscribe button and make sure to smash like in the video as well. And just let us know your thoughts. Like if there's any players that we've missed, because there were players that I wanted to talk about more, like Bernardo Silva, Sinistera for Leeds, and so on and so forth. But I'll try and make these shows regular before the season starts. So let us know in the comments if you agree, disagree. But guys and ladies and lady, thank you for hopping on today. And enjoy Love Island. Enjoy Love Island. So people, I'll be back on my channel soon. I'm doing something really cool with Grizz and with Dan Potts on two of my favorite strikers in the Premier League era as well. So look out for that this upcoming week. But until then, take care.